talk to me about the legal justification of sending federal law enforcement to cities where the mayors do not consent to their presence.
Well, first of all, Liz, there's a couple of things. We really need to make sure that we're making a distinction between what's happening in Portland and now what's happening based on the president's latest press conference in cities like Chicago. Those are two different things, two different situations. In Portland, it's about protecting federal property that criminals are attacking. That's Title 40 USC 1315, which tells the secretary that he must protect federal buildings throughout the United States. That's what's happening in Portland. Now let's shift to Chicago. We're seeing an increase in violent crime across. What's happening there is additional federal agents are going to go to Chicago and envelop in and support and augment federal task forces that already existed and have existed for decades, and they're going to work with state and locals just like they have every single day. They're just going to put more of them there to attack the increase in violence. It's pretty straightforward, but out here they've made it political and a bunch of talking points. They're just misinformed.
Right. Well, certainly misinformed about Portland. The federal assets, I mean, that's very cut and dry. It's actually very simple. As I said in my monologue before, it's a diversion technique. The Democrats don't want you to focus on what's happening in Portland. They want to pretend that the president is sending in inappropriate paramilitary forces to scare everyone. There is an issue when it comes to consent, though. So take Chicago, for example. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, I mean, she accused the president of sending federal agents into her city simply because she's a woman. I think we can all tell that that's a ridiculous comment. You know, the 60 people, I believe, were shot in Chicago last weekend. Monday, 25 people. Tuesday, 24 people. It is like a war zone. But what is the specific legal justification for augmenting, to use your word, the federal forces when the mayor does not want them to be there?
So the mayor has no say on where we send federal agents to investigate and prosecute federal crimes. That's what we're talking about, Liz. Again, there are federal task force that exists in Chicago for decades. That's what we're talking about. They're going after gangs, transnational criminal organization, and other violent activities, and they are pursuing federal violations and would be prosecuted federally by the Department of Justice. And these federal task forces, I've been on multiple federal task forces throughout my 30-year career, and that's where you have state and local police as well as federal agents. We bring them on, we deputize them to enforce federal law. That's what they're doing there. Sorry, we don't need mayor approval to go somewhere and enforce federal law.
All right, further criticism from mostly the left, the mainstream media, and I think it's very important to address each and every point so that it doesn't become the defining narrative here if it's untrue. The further criticism is that these federal agents are wearing unmarked uniforms. They don't have any badge numbers. They don't have name identification, and they are arresting without any due process. Can you confirm or deny that, sir?
Yeah, both of those. Both of those are a lie. And let me really quick talk about the markings. For CBP, for example, our agents out there, they wear no less than 6 separate pieces of identification. They've got bright yellow police on the front and back. On both shoulders, they have identification. One identifies them as belonging to Customs and Border Protection. The other one, their component, i.e. Border Patrol. They also have a specific a number and letter that designates who that specific person is. And here's something that's key. As the acting commissioner, I authorize and support taking their names off because the same criminals that are trying to assault them are also doxing them, trying to get people to go to their home where their family is and risk their family's lives. That is absolutely disgusting. Now, let's move real quick to what they're doing in the cities within Portland. They are not going out and just arresting protesters. When you see them off federal property, they have probable cause or reasonable suspicion that someone has just committed a federal crime. In most incidents, that federal crime has been that individual has assaulted a federal officer. You don't get to step on federal property, assault somebody, and then go back to city property, ollie income free. It doesn't work that way. You commit a federal crime, we're going after you. I don't care where you're at.